Welcome to Channel 17, the Town of Colonie Government Channel.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Health. I'm your host, Peggy Mello. Today's guests are George Regan from the Friehofer's Run for Women and Dr. Louis Snitkoff from Capital Care Medical Group. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today we're here to talk about the Friehofer's Run for Women and the Capital Care Health and Fitness Expo. Why don't we start with the Friehofer's Run for Women, George? Do you want to tell me generally the different events that are going to take place? We should probably mention the date too. So
It's going to be Saturday, June 2nd. The
Okay.
Expo actually starts June 1st at noon from the Empire State Plaza. But the first event of the Friehofer's Run for Women, which there are three events, is going to be the community walk. That starts at 8 a.m. On Madison Avenue in front of the New York State Museum. And that event is for local charities. It was designed to help raise money for local charities. Last year we raised $76,000 for some 56 local charities that were involved. And this year we're hoping to go over 100,000.
wow.
Yes, and since its inception in 1989, we've raised over $1 million for local charities.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, and the charities come out and walk. Well, that goes from 8 until 9:30, and then the 5K competition road race starts at 10:15, and we're expecting athletes from all over the world to come in and compete.
You have Olympians coming.
We do. We will have about 10 Olympians in the field, possibly more at this time. At this point in time, they're still registering. But I think the emphasis, and that what I like to point out, is that the recreational runners are really the bulk of what makes up the field here. 90% of the runners do it for the health of it. And I think what's interesting is the fact that there's no other sport, be it pro or amateur, where your recreational participant can compete with the professionals. But in road racing, you can, which is very interesting. So it's very unique. So I would encourage your listeners, your audience, to come out and participate. Sign up. They can sign up online, friehofersrun.com, or they can go to their local Price Chopper store. We have applications for the kids run, the community walk, and the 5K at the customer service desk.
And the community walk is the only one they actually need the sponsorship for.
Well, that's right. It's designed so you'd choose a charity, and all of the charities that are participating, or most of them, are listed on the form. So you can choose one of those, and then you can go out and raise money on their behalf. So that at 11 o'clock, the 5K is over with, 11:15, and the children's run, the kids run, starts at 11:30. And we have kids from 3 to 13 participating in events from 50 meters up and to the mile.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're expecting about 2,000 kids. This is the fifth largest kids run in the nation. And it's really great, to see those kids out there, especially the little toddlers that do the 50 meters, the 4 and under. Of course they run with their parents, but it's a lot of fun.
So did they run right on Madison Avenue?
Yes, they do, and so they'll finish in under the same finish line banner that the women have just finished under just an hour before, which makes it really unique for them. Very exciting, very motivational. A lot of moms come down that are running in the 5K, and they bring their children with them. They bring their husband. It's a real family event.
So let's talk numbers. Have there been any world records set or
Yes.
for professional event?
Colleen DeRook set a world masters record in 2004 here, and her time was 15:47
And Masters is over the age
of 40.
40.
Yes.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, that record still stands in the world today. There's nobody over 40 that has broken that record yet. So that's a 3-year-old record that we still have here in Albany, which is kind of cool.
And these women can run 3.1 miles in how many minutes?
15.
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Sometimes a little faster. I mean, the world record right now is 1450, 1451.
Now,
You won't see that here in Albany, though, because our course is really too hilly.
Right.
It's too challenging for that. Those courses that you see under 15 minutes are usually pretty flat.
So they run up the hill around Washington Park and down
Down Western
Western.
to Washington, to Henry Johnson Boulevard, back into the park, back out to Madison Avenue, and then a finish right down in front of the New York State Museum. Yeah, it's a nice course. And we've had this course, or something similar to it, for the past 28 years. So we've always run in this general vicinity of Albany.
So how many people are running?
3,500 women we're expecting in total.
So 3,500,
to
and somehow they
participate
all fit
in
at
the
the finish, at the start.
Well, that's Madison Avenue is a big highway.
wide.
Yeah, it is. It's 65 feet wide from curb to curb. So we can fit a lot of people in there. Of course, they stretch out for a while. I mean, they go from the west side of the museum all the way down to the east side of the museum. But you see, they line up according to their anticipated pace per mile. So those Olympians, those athletes that have come in to contest the 5K championship will be up front. And those, of course, will be running a 5-minute mile. And then we have signs that show the runners where the 6-minute mile pace should be, and then 7 minutes and 8 minutes and 9 minutes.
So they look for the 6-minute sign, and then they make sure that they
The
start.
elite runners do, right, or the top local runners. The recreational runners may look for the 12-minute or slower sign, But the important thing is that they line up according to their anticipated pace. That way, there's no chance of anybody getting pushed over or getting, trampled. If somebody who was running 12 minutes per mile lined up at the 6-minute per mile pace, they might get out 100 yards, but then they'd run out of steam, and they would have
Right.
all these women behind them that was actually running 6 minutes a
Right.
mile. So there'd be a potential for them to get knocked over.
Right.
So it's very important that they, from a safety aspect, with these many women. I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's a good point.
I mean, I've seen the still images of the start of the race. It's really amazing.
It is, isn't
Must
it?
be an incredible feeling just to hear that guns
It's
go off
amazing.
and
The
everyone
energy
start
that
up.
comes out from that crowd of women is just incredible. You can feel it. It's you could cut it if you had a knife. It's really quite incredible.
So what is the prize?
Well, the first place prize for those athletes that are running this event competitively is $10,000.
$10,000.
Right, and then it goes down to and through 10th place. And there are prizes for team competition as well. And we do have mother-daughter teams, sister-sister teams. Last year we had 212 mother-daughter teams and 157 sister-sister teams. We have corporate teams, so the library can get together and put a team
Love to
together.
do
You
that.
could run in it on the Colonie library team.
So why don't you talk about the major runners that are going to be running this year, the well-known ones?
Well, Bonita Johnson,
Bonita
the Olympian from
She's from
Australia, and holds 8 of the Oceania records, will be returning to defend her title.
She won last year.
She did. She
Okay.
won in 15 minutes and 30 seconds. She ran. And then Asme Lagzawi, who won in 2005, will be returning. Asme finished 10th last year. So you can see, if you're not right on your game, that, it's very easy to lose this race.
Right.
We have Additionally, Joan Samuelson is turning 50 this year, and she's coming in, and this will be her first competitive competition as a 50-year-old. Joan Benoit Samuelson, the Olympic medalist,
Okay.
Olympic gold medalist in the marathon. She did that in Los Angeles in 1984. And we're expecting another. We've got the Great Britain's champion, marathon champion coming in, and we've got athletes from Africa, from Russia, from Europe. So we've got pretty much the globe covered. So it'll be very interesting to see who actually does win this year. I think Benita Johnson will have her hands full.
Wow. So tell me about the challenges of the horrible weather last year.
Well, we got wet.
It was very bad rain.
And there was a lot of umbrellas. You know, we just put on the event. I mean, once you get wet, you can't get any wetter. So we just worked right through it. You know, the clocks are all digital. The timing devices are all waterproof. You know, I mean...
How does that affect you when you're running a race?
Well,
You were talking
standing
about-
water is difficult to run through.
Right.
So, so what ended up happening is the women kind of, because there was a lot of standing water on the curbs and the corners, because it wasn't draining fast enough. There was just too much volume,
Right.
that they were running wide around the corners. So this slowed them down somewhat. And in some cases, there were you know, 3, 4, 5 inches of water curb to curb. So they had to run through that. So
So they
that
can't-
clearly slows them down.
They don't have a way to pass around the edge like they
No.
would be able to.
No, they have to stay in the
They
roadway.
have to stay in the center.
Right, and and the way the course is measured, it's really measured along the shortest line. So in a lot of cases, especially if there's a right-hand turn, it'll be measured on that right-hand curve. Well, if they have to swing wide around that right-hand curve, they could be losing 2-3 meters, right, or 2-3 feet, right there on that one turn. So that tends to slow you down. So I mean, it was really a gargantuan effort by Benita to run that time of 15:30 last year in the conditions that she ran it in.
Wow.
And Natalie Berkut from the Ukraine was second, and Lorna Kiplagat from the Netherlands was third. Lorna Kiplagat, up to that time, held the world record for the 5K distance on the roads. So, you know, and she came in third. So, I mean, that just shows you the level of competition here is the best in the world. And it's very exciting to be able to have that here in Albany. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank the Friehofer Baking Company for supporting this for all these years, because really, it's really because of them that and their dough that we're able to continue this long history and tradition of this great women's road race.
Now it's gone since 1979,
Correct.
Is it?
Yes, 79.
and you used to have 10K events.
We did. As a matter of fact, it was a 10K championship event up until 1989. And then in 89, we switched the focus to the 5-kilometer distance. And a woman by the name of Judy St. Hilaire came in that year, and she set a new American record at the 5-kilometer distance. I never saw anything like it. I said that Judy ran with the eye of the tiger. It was amazing. She was so focused. And really, in order to set new records like that, and you hear it all the time, this one set that record and that one set this record, but it is an incredible feat to accomplish something like that. And you don't really realize it until you see all those people that are trying to accomplish it, you know, and then when it actually happens, the effort it takes is quite incredible. So yes, in 1989, we went to the 5K distance. We kept the 10K up until 1992, but then we eventually ended up dropping it because of, you know, we added the kids run in 88.
Must have been too complicated.
We added the community walk in 89.
Yeah.
And then we had the 10K and the 5K. It was just a lot of work for our volunteers.
So how many participants are in the community walk generally?
We have generally around 1,000.
Okay. They don't race each other.
No, that's a walk for charity. And hopefully we'll raise over $100,000 for local charities this year.
So tell me, the professional run, the runners have the timing chips.
They do.
Now, how do those work?
It's just a device that picks up the signal from the chip. So when the chip crosses an electronic mat that basically is a receiver, it picks up this signal. That's
So you have the mats at the start,
No, we have the mats at the finish.
only at the finish.
Right. We go by guns. We go by gun time here because of the professional nature of the event. And the fact is that it's a 5-kilometer distance. Really, the last woman crossing the start line takes about 30 seconds. So it doesn't take that long to get all of those women because the road is so wide that we can get them across the start quickly. So we just have the mats at the finish line. So we set the finish mats with the gun. When we start the gun, we start a watch. We come down to the finish. We set the finish mats. They're all calibrated. So when those chips cross that mat, they're a receiver. It picks up that signal. That signal is matched to a bib number. We have a place and a time.
And when do they find out their official time? How do they find it out?
Instantaneously. We post it. We print it out within 10 minutes. I mean, before the last runner has even stepped on the mats, we already have a posting of results up. And we put them down at the Capital Care Health and Fitness Expo, and we put them up at the outdoor stage. So, and at 11:30 we have our award ceremony from the outdoor stage, and they'll all be posted there. So the award ceremony is a lot of fun too, because you see all these Olympic athletes up close and personal. I mean, most of them get on the award stage. Most of these Olympians get on the award stage.
And when is the actual award ceremony?
11:30. 11:30 on Saturday, June 2nd. Yes.
Great. Okay, Louis, we turn to you. The Health Expo is sponsored by Capital Care?
Yes, it's sponsored by Capital Care Medical Group.
Okay, and you are the
I'm the medical director of
medical
Capital Care.
director of Capital Care. And do you want to just mention the days and the times of the expo?
Yes, the expo starts on Friday, June 1st at noon, runs till 8 p.m. on Friday. Then we're back at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning until 3 in the afternoon on Saturday.
And the important thing to mention is that the admittance is free.
Free.
So anyone can come by and check it out.
Right, it's open to the public. All of the health screenings, all of the exhibits, everything that takes place at the expo is free of charge and anyone can attend. We have several different groups of people that we find come to the expo on Friday, since it's the day before the race, and we're at the Empire State Plaza. We have a lot of people who work in and around the Empire State Plaza who visit us on their lunch hour or when they get out of work late in the afternoon. And then toward Friday evening, we sometimes have some of the race participants who may be coming to pick up their packets and things of that sort.
So all of the racers have to stop by the expo to get their
At some
bibs
point,
and
they
their
have
tips.
to pass through the concourse.
Okay.
And then on race day, we have women who are running, we have their families, we have their children, we have spectators, we have just other members of the general public. So there's a pretty diverse group of people who pass through, and it's a great opportunity for us to provide a little community service and have a little visibility in the community.
Now, do you want to talk about some of the vendors that are going to be there?
Yeah, we have quite a few exhibitors who represent medical groups, fitness organizations. We have some new exhibitors this year that we're very excited about. We have some other people who are returning from previous years. So in addition to our own group, Capital Care, we're predominantly primary care medical group.
Care.
We have Schenectady Medical Imaging, which is a large group that provides medical imaging services in Schenectady and Guilderland and some other communities. Gold's Gym will be there doing some demonstrations, and also they'll be hosting a spin-a-thon that is a benefit for diabetes research. The Capital District Tobacco Free Coalition will be there to provide advice and information about smoking cessation. Other medical groups include Albany ENT and Allergy, Capital Region Neurosurgery. These are important because a lot of people who are runners or people who are physically active do have allergy problems, particularly this time of year in the Northeast, so they can get some good advice about those things. The neurosurgery folks are very interested in back and spine problems, and those are things that are very important for runners as well. We'll have St. Peter's Cardiac Care. New York State Department of Health will be there, which will be an interesting addition this year. And representatives from the Alzheimer's Association, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and others. So we're very excited to have all of these organizations represented. They all have a lot of great educational information for people, and we encourage people to take advantage of this opportunity to get some good information, and it's all free.
So what kind of testing is offered?
Well,
What's involved in a health screening?
we specifically will be doing blood pressure checks. We'll be measuring height and weight and calculating body mass index, or BMI. We'll also be doing body fat analysis, which sometimes is useful in conjunction with BMI to
because some athletes can have a BMI in the obesity range.
Right. Yeah, for example, weightlifters, people who do a lot of weight training, can have high BMIs, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're unhealthy because they have very low body fat, whereas someone else with the same body fat who has same BMI, who has a different body composition, that could be a problem. We also, depending upon certain criteria, age and blood pressure, people who have those screenings, if they're interested, may be eligible for some additional screenings and some cardiovascular risk evaluations. That will also be occurring at our booth. And then I think some of the other medical organizations will be doing different things that relate to their own area of specialty. I think the imaging people are planning to have some interactive educational things with x-rays, which should be interesting for kids. Looking at bone x-rays and x-rays of fractures and normal bones and things of that sort. And I think the ENT folks will be also having some information and maybe some screenings regarding hearing loss and things of that sort.
Now, there are also going to be seminars, right?
We're not... those are not being done by us. Are you?
Yeah, Joan Samuelson will be doing a seminar at 7 to 7:30.
And she's the Olympic
gold medalist.
Medalist.
She'll be talking about her career and the importance of balancing a healthy diet with regular exercise and medical updates. And she'll be talking about, last year I remember she was talking about children and how how much exercise they should get. We don't want to push them too much, especially in the longer distances. You don't want kids that are young adolescents or preteens running the marathon, for instance. It's just not good for their bones. Their bones haven't fully developed. So we got into a very good discussion last year with Joan, and we're expecting the same. And of course there'll be entertainment there. Friday, 7 p.m., Jesse Bonanno will be performing. And then on Saturday at noon, we kick off with Phoebe Henry, and then Lava Records' Toby Lightman will be there. So there's going to be a lot of entertainment, and it's all free. Great day.
Now, I'm curious about this spin-a-thon. You were telling me about it before.
Yes.
Does it mean that somebody starts spinning when the expo starts on Friday and
yes, right.
continues
until the
non-stop?
last? That's right, until the last spinner is left, and that spinner is the winning spinner.
Wow.
I know. That'll be fun though, because it's going to raise money for
diabetes research.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, you were telling me about the parking situation.
The
Gonna
East
be easy
Garage,
to park down
yes,
there, right?
it really is. We're kind of suggesting that people go to the East Garage. You know, when you come off of 787, you go into the Empire State Plaza. You can park in in the V lot, which is the visitors lot. But my recommendation would be just to come around the horn and come back and go into the East Garage. They've got thousands of spots in there, and it comes out right on the corner of Madison and South
Swan?
No, not Swan. The next Eagle.
Eagle.
Right.
Okay.
And that's just a half a block to the where the Capital Care Health and Fitness Expo is going to be and where the start of the race is. It's very convenient. But they can park in the V lot, visitors lot, that holds several hundred cars, or any of the surrounding lots, downtown or, at the Times Union Center or any of the open lots, the city lots, that'll all be open that day. Plenty of parking,
Excellent.
yes.
Okay, George, do you want to talk to me about the logistics of actually applying? Who can still register?
Well, registrations are open, mail-in registrations are open until the 25th of May. Online registrations are open until the 29th at midnight. And then the day before, on Friday, at the Capital Care Health and Fitness Expo from noon to 8, you can register in person. That's how you register for the 5K. For the kids run and for the community walk, you can register right up until the day of the event, and you can do it that morning if you'd like for both of those events. And volunteers are still welcome. We need about 600 to 700 volunteers in
Wow.
order to put this event on.
That's amazing.
And you can go to our website, friehofersrun.com, and get a volunteer application, or you can volunteer right online if you'd like.
Do you generally get that number of volunteers? Or?
Yes, we do, every year.
Very
And
good.
we need them. So if any of your viewers out there are interested in seeing an event like this up close and personal,
I would love to.
volunteering, and then they get a free T-shirt and a box of chocolate chip cookies.
Excellent. If I weren't going to be out of town, I would certainly be there. Okay, I'm thinking that the Expo is also going to be focusing on the childhood obesity epidemic. So do you want to address
Sure.
that?
Yeah, as George mentioned, this is definitely a family-oriented event. And over the last few years, we have had a lot of kids who have attended the Expo. And there's, of course, entertainment for them. But because four of our Capital Care offices are pediatric offices, we do have pediatricians in our group who are very concerned about the health of children, and particularly the epidemic of pediatric obesity. So this is a great venue to stress the importance of fitness for children, because it is associated with a race, it's associated with a kids run, and it has a health focus. So we will have pediatricians at various times throughout the 2 days of the Expo who will be available to talk with parents and their kids about health and fitness for children. We'll have pediatric BMI charts, which are different from adult BMI charts. We'll have ways of accurately measuring the height and weight of kids and giving them an idea if they're in the proper target range or not. This is an area of great concern because of the ties between obesity and diabetes and also other health problems later in life. So the earlier we can increase awareness of these issues in children as they're growing up, the better off they will be, because it has been shown that children who are obese are more likely to become obese adults.
And hopefully the Expo will focus on the fact that kids have to focus on nutrition and exercise. Obviously exercise is a big part of it, but...
Right, and there are guidelines now regarding, at least an hour a day of physical activity for children, and fewer than 2 hours a day be, in front of the television or video games. And
Screen time.
Yeah, screen time.
Right.
So, of course, television and video entertainment have their role, but everything has to be kept in its proper perspective.
Okay, so let's just do a review. We'll do the dates again and the times. So do you want to?
Yes, Capital
that.
Care Health and Fitness Expo, Friday, June 1st, from noon until 8.
Noon to 8.
Continues through Saturday, starts at 8 a.m. and goes until 3 p.m.
Okay.
The community walk for charity starts at 8 a.m. on Saturday, June 2nd. Goes until about 9:30. The 5K championship and fitness run starts at 10:15 to about 11:15. The kids run on Saturday, June 2nd, starts at 11:30 and goes until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, with the 50 meters first going up to and through the mile. So they have 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meter, 400 meter, and the mile. And the award ceremony is going to take place from the outdoor stage, plaza level, Empire State Plaza, at 11:30 Saturday, June 2nd. And we'll have entertainment there. The main entertainment is going to be Lava Records' Toby Lightman. She'll be coming up from New York City and doing a show for us, and start off with Phoebe Henry. At that time, we'll have autograph signing down at the Capital Care Health and Fitness Expo and the Capital Care Medical Group's booth at the Expo.
Excellent. Well, I wish you much luck in
Thank you
your
so much.
endeavors this year. Thank you very much for coming.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching. We hope to see you next time on Focus on Health.
Welcome to Channel 17, the Town of Colonie Government Channel.